Want to know the most powerful thing ever said to a woman who told me I was too old for her? She ended up pursuing for months. Here's the weird part. I never tried to convince her otherwise. No grand speeches, no defensive arrogance, no desperate attempts to prove I was young enough. What I did instead flipped the entire interaction upside down, and it can do the same for you. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you a simple yet wildly effective 3-step method called Tap Thought. Transforms your too old into I can't stop thinking about you. But before I reveal this counterintuitive niche, you need to understand something much deeper, something that will rewire the way you think about attraction, age, and power. Because most men completely destroy their chances when a woman says, "You're too old for me." Why? Because they make it about the number, when in truth, it wasn't even about the number. Let me tell you about something that happened just last week. One of my close friends, let's call him Jake, heard those exact words from a woman at a high-end networking event. She was stunning, sharp, mid-30s. And right after introductions, she dropped the classic line, "You're a little old for me, Arenatu." What did he do? Not what you'd expect. And guess what? 2 weeks later, she told her best friend that Jake wasn't like any man she'd ever met. And the fact that he was older made him even more irresistible. And that right there reveals the secret I've discovered after studying hundreds of age gap relations. After years of coaching men from CEOs to everyday professionals, one pattern kept showing up, and it blew me mind. The men who succeed aren't the ones who look the youngest. They're the ones who understand the hidden psychology behind the age comment. That's what I'm going to give you in this video. The real strategy behind what to do when a woman challenges you with that dreaded line. Because when she says, "You're too old," you're standing at a crossroads. And what you say next will define not just the interaction, but every future connection with younger women. So ask yourself, have you ever worked your entire life to build confidence, success, and freedom, only to have a younger woman dismiss it all in 30 seconds? I've seen it over and over again. The successful entrepreneur who panics and tries to validate himself. The charming older guy who fumbles his response and becomes just another old dude. The powerful professional who lets in phrase destroy his frame and authority. But here's the thing. No one tells you that moment that you're too old comment. It's not rejection. It's an opportunity. An opportunity younger guys will never hit. An opening to trigger a level of attraction deeper than charm or looks. And if you respond the right way, shadow scent, just accept the age gap, she becomes addicted to it. Now that you understand the power behind that moment when she says, "You're too old for me," let's dig into what not to do. Because 95% of men sabotage themselves in less than 10 seconds. I call these the triple death trap. Each one is deadly. Each one destroys attraction instantly. And the worst part, they all seem logical, but they work against you on a subconscious level. Let's break them down. Death trap. For one, the defensive response. No, I'm not that old. I work out 5 times a week. I eat clean. And Devirian says I look younger than my age. You think you're fixing the problem by proving your youth. But here's the truth. The moment you defend yourself, you admit there's something wrong with your age. And here's what she hears. He's insecure about it. So maybe I should be too. Let that sink in. If you treat your age like a weakness, she definitely will. Confidence is, but so is insecurity. Death trap. Sugar too. The logic trap. Well, actually, studies show that couples with age gaps often have better communication and more emotional maturity. Plus, older men are more irresistible and less dramatic than guys in their 20s. Sounds smart, right? Wrong, asterisk. You cannot logic your way into attraction. Attraction doesn't happen in the brain. It happens in the gut, in the chest, in the body. The moment you start listing bullet point reasons why she'll date you, you stop being a man and start sounding like a resume and lit. Me tell you, women don't fall in love with the CV. They fall in love with how a man makes them feel. Death trap number 3, the confidence killer. Yeah, I guess maybe I am kind of old for you. Game over. The second you accept their frame and shrink in self-doubt, you've come exactly what she feared, this stereotypical older man who's not confident in his own skin. Here's the hard truth. She's testing you. She's poking the frame, not because she's trying to hurt you, but because she wants to feel whether you're stable, grounded, and unshakeable. And if you crumble, she walks. But if you stand firm, she leans in. So now you know what destroys attraction in seconds. But what if I told you that the very moment says you're too old is actually your greatest chance to turn everything? In the next section, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that using a method that flips her frame, changes dynamic, and makes you more magnetic than men half your age. It's called the THAP method, and it's something I teach to men all over the world. Andes, it works, so now you know what not to do. Thetrapol death traps that instantly destroy attraction. Let's shift gears. Because when she says, "You're too old for me," what she's really doing is throwing out adist, a subtle challenge to your confidence, your self-perception, and your emotional strength. And most men fail. But the ones who succeed, they use the thought very moment to flip the script. And that's exactly what the TP method is designed to do. I developed this 3-step method after coaching thousands of men, from business leaders to artists to everyday guys, and watching what actually works in real-world interactions. It's not about charm, it's not about age, it's about psych. Let me show you how this works. Step 1. Transform the test. When she says "you're too old for me," you're going to respond in a way that completely disarms her frame. Not with defense, not with logic, but with playful exaggeration. You smirk, lean in slightly, and say, "You're absolutely right. I'm ancient. In fact, I just finished writing my memoirs from their Renaissance." Boom. You didn't argue, you didn't defend. You amplified the absurdity of her comment and turned it into humor. This playful over-agreementos 3 powerful things. 1. Shows absolute confidence in who you are. 2. Proves you're unshakable, emotional libulatra. 3. Shifts the vibe from serious to flirty and fun. And most importantly, she didn't expect it. Remember, attraction lives in emotion, not logic. And if you can make her laugh even for a second, you've changed the energy of the entire interaction. Step 2. Amplify the attraction. This is where most guys stop, but you're Rene most guys. Right after the playful response, you smoothly pivot. But y'all know what's interesting? You're actually really mature for your age. The way you handled that thing earlier, most women in their 30s wouldn't have had that insight. You just flipped the lens. Now you're evaluating her. You've taken the frame, not in an aggressive way, but in a charismatic, high-value way. You gave her a genuine, specific compliment that signals emotional intelligence and creates intimacy. You're not chasing her, you're noticing her, and that triggers something powerful. She starts to wonder what else you've picked up about her. Curiosity, intrigue, emotional connection, all happening fast. Step 3. P. Position the power shift. This is where you make the final move. It seals the dynamic. You look at her come steady and say, actually, it should probably be more concerned whether you're mature enough for me. Then pause, smile, and finish with, so tell me, what's the most sophisticating you've done this month? Now the power has completely shifted. You are no longer reacting to her judgment. You're inviting her to rise to your standard. This last step does 3 things. 1. Positions you as the selector, not the caster. 2. Creates positive tension. She now has something to prove. 3. Makes the interaction feel like a playful, high-status exchange, not a job interview. And if you get the right voice tone, body language, and timing, she won't just see you differently. She feels differently around you. You just flipped the lens. Now you're evaluating her. You've taken control of the frame, not in an aggressive way, but in a charismatic, high-value way. You gave her a genuine, specific compliment that's intelligence and creates intimacy. You're not chasing her, you're noticing her, and that triggers something powerful. She starts to wonder what else you've picked up about her. Curiosity, intrigue, emotional connection, all happening fast. Step 3. P. Position the power shift. This is where you make the final move that seals the dynamic. You look at her, calm, steady, and say, actually, it should probably be more concerned whether you're mature enough for me. Then pause, smile, and finish with, so tell me, what's the most sophisticating you've done this month? Now the power has completely shifted. You're no longer reacting to her judgment. You're inviting her to rise to your standard. This last step does 3 things. 1. Positions you as the selector, not the caster. 2. Creates positive tension. She now has something to prove. 3. Makes the interaction feel like a playful, high-status exchange, not a job interview. And if you get the right voice, tone, body language, and timing, she won't just see you differently. She feel differently around you. She feel like she's talking to a man she can't control, can't predict, and now can't stop thinking about. Let's pause for a second, and go even deeper. You've learned the TAPI method. How to disarm the "you're too old" objection, flip the frame, and shift the power. But if you want to master this completely, you need to understand something most men never realize. When a woman says, "You're too old, femme," she's not making a factual statement. She's asking you 3 emotional questions, and she's waiting to see how you respond. This isn't about the number on your birth certificate. It's about what that number represents. So what is she really asking? Emotional questiona. Are you insecure about your age? This is the first and most important filter she's using. She doesn't care, E4, 38, 48, or 58. What she's trying to sense is, does he see his age as a weakness? Because here's the truth, if it's a problem for you, it will become a problem for her. If you flinch, hesitate, or shrink when she mentions, she instantly feels like you're hiding something that makes her feel unsafe emotionally and socially. And trust me, no attraction survives in instantaneity. But if you respond with ease, if you laugh it off, or better yet, turn it into a moment of play, that tells her everything she needs to know. It tells her, this man is grounded, he's not running from who he is, and maybe he's exactly what I've been looking for. Emotional question number 2. Can ya handle social pressure? This one is subtle, but it's always in the back of her mind. She's thinking about what it would feel like to bring you around her friends, her co-workers, maybe even her family. She's wondering, will I feel proud to stand next to him, or will it feel judged? She wants to feel like she's with a man who doesn't need external validation. Someone who can walk into any room, own it, and make people feel curious rather than awkward. This isn't about convincing her. It's about radiating a sense of comfort in your own skin, no matter who's watching. Emotional question number 3. Are you truly confident in who you are? This is this final and most critical test, because a younger woman doesn't just want someone older. She wants someone stronger, smarter, and more secure than men her age. She wants to feel that can learn from you, grow with you, be led by you without you needing to flex, boast, or prove anything. And if your response to your too old effortless confidence, playful energy, and subtle power, you didn't just pass the test, you rewrite the rules, because now she's no longer wondering why you're older. She's wondering how she got lucky enough to meet a man who's finally not threatened to be himself. Now that you understand the emotional psychology behind her words, let's talk proof. A case theory is nice, but what happens in real life? Let me tell you the story of James. James is a client I worked with privately, a sharp, thoughtful man in his early 50s. He came to me because a woman at a charity gala had said the exact words, "You're too old for me." Now, James could have frozen, could have defaulted to one of the triple death traps, defending himself, explaining his lifestyle, trying to logic his way into her heart. But instead, he used the exact tap method I taught you earlier, and the results, let's just say she didn't just walk away interested, she walked away fascinated. Within minutes, she was the one asking questions, not about his age, but about his experiences, his stories, his life. 2 weeks later, they were dating, and here's the twist. She was actually older than the last woman James had dated. The thought sink in. The age was never the issue. The frame was, let's break down why James approached worked voice tonality. First response. Slightly amused, playful tone, not rushed, not defensive. Think of someone telling an inside joke to themselves. Middle transition. Warm, grounded, curious, but not needy. He complimented her maturity in a way that felt sincere, not strategic. Power shift line delivered with a confident pause, lower vocal tone, followed by a slow, smooth smile. Your voice shouldn't rise in pitch like you're asking for approval. It should drop. Like a calm ocean wave. That's how she knows you're not shaken. Body language, relaxed posture. No stiff holders, no crossed arms, just comfort. That tells her, I'm good with woe, I am. Slight head tilt during playful moments. This adds warmth and disarms her defense. It makes the exchange feel flirtatious, not confrontational. Strong eye contact during power shift beckos. This is where you seal the energy dynamic. You're not just saying the words, you're holding space, you're owning it. Subtle smile throughout. No to cheesy grin, not arrogance. Just that slight knowing smile that says, I've been here before, and I like where this is going. Timing secrets. The way James timed each part of the tap method was everything. The first response came immediately. No hesitation, no fear. The second phase, the compliment, was delivered slowly, almost like it just occurred to him. And the power shift. It landed with deliberate calmness, like a man who doesn't need to convince anyone of anything. That's what made her lean in. And 2 weeks later, here's what settled a mutual friend. It's like his age became one of the most attractive things about him. Not just accepted, but desired. That's what happens when you stop seeing age as a barrier and start owning it as your edge. Let me show you something even more powerful than the tap method. What if I told you that you could prevent the "you're too old" objection before it ever even leaves her lips? What if you could reframe her perception of your age so subtly and confidently she never sees it as an issue? In fact, she sees it as an asset. That's where the next level strategy comes in. I call it pre-framing your age. Psychological judo that flips the narrative before the battle even starts. This isn't about hiding your age or overcompensating. It's about presenting it in a way that triggers curiosity, respect, and attraction. Let me walk you through 3 powerful pre-frames that will make you irrelevant or even magnetic in her eyes. Pre-frame Chakra 1. The experience reframe. Next time you're casually sharing a story, drop in a line like, that's enough, the things I love about being at this stage in life. You finally understand things most people miss until way later. You're not apologizing for your age. You're showing that your years brought perspective, insight, and depth. This flips the script. Instead of her thinking he's older, she starts thinking you sees the world in ways most people never will, and that's sexy. Pre-frame number 2. The social proof. Instead of avoiding your dating history, you use it strategically. Funny enough, my last relationship was with someone your age. She always said the best thing about dating someone older was the depth of our conversations. Boom, now what's happening? You've normalized the age gap. You've shown you're desirable to women like her, and you've subtly communicated that you're not new to this dynamic. You're confident in it. It's what psychologists call preselection, and it's a powerful primal trigger. Women are drawn to men no other women desire. Pre-frame number 3. The value flip. This one is my personal favorite. When the conversation turns to experiences or generational differences. Say, you know what I love about connecting with people from different generations. You get Tomic's fresh perspective with relativism. That combo is rare, but when it's electric. Notice how smooth that is. You've just turned what some might see as a gap into a shared advantage, something she benefits from, too. You've made age not just a non-issue, but a secret weapon. Why this works. When a woman meets an older man, she's navigating two conflicting narratives. 1. Social conditioning that says, age gaps are weird. 2. Her natural attraction to maturity, confidence, and emotional stability. Pre-framing helps you tip the scale, before that first narrative can hijack her thoughts. It's like vaccinating her mind before the "our too old" virus ever takes hold, so don't wait for her to bring up age like it's a problem. Show her from the beginning it's a feature, not a flaw. And when done right, she won't just accept your age. she'll start wondering how she ever settled for guys without it. Now, let's bring it all home. You've learned how most men fail the test, Weena. Woman says, "You're too old for me." You've seen how the tap method transforms that test into a moment of attraction. You've even discovered how to pre-frame your age so the objection disperses before it even forms. But there's the real truth, and I want you to let this land deep. Your age is either your greatest insecurity or your greatest asset. There is no middle ground. The men who win, and not just win dates, but build meaningful, lasting connections, are not the ones who look young for their age. They are the ones who've made peace with their age. Better yet, they've made it part of their masculine appeal. And here's why that's so powerful. A man who's confident in his age is rare. A man who radiates certainty without needing to prove anything. That's magnetic, because deep down women aren't looking for someone who's just fun. They're looking for someone who's rooted, who's been through storms and came out stronger. Hikari's experience, not excuses. Hoex in truth, not in fear of being found out. Let me take you back to how this video began. That woman who told May was too old for her. She pursued me for months. And one night, months into our connection, she told me something I'll never forget. It was how you handled that moment. Not trying to convince me. Not flinching. Not proving anything. Just that quiet confidence. I realized I'd never met Eamon so completely at peace with himself. That one sentence changed how I saw myself, and it's why I created this video for you. Because I want you to step into that version of yourself. You are not just a man with a few extra years. You are a man with layers, with presence, with authority. Stop trying to fit into the image of someone younger. Instead, master being the kind of man younger guys can't even compete with. 1. Drop a comment below with your age and the biggest challenge you're facing with the younger women. 2. Let me know which technique are you going to try first. Tap pre-framing, or maybe both. 3. And if this video helped you see yourself in a new light, like it, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This channel is about unlocking the dark truths behind human behavior, attraction, and power. And you're exactly where you need to be. The moment says, "You're too old for me," is not a rejection. It's a mirror, a reflection of your self-perception. And how you respond will either shrink you or make you unforgettable. So the next time it happens, smile, because you're not too old, you're just getting started.